The roof of the Mandalay Bay Convention Center on the Las Vegas Strip is covered in solar panels. It's one of the largest rooftop solar arrays in the United States and supplies 1/4 of the convention center's electricity needs. This is just one example of humanity's efforts to adapt to a warming planet with renewable energy.
We have some of the best solar potential in this part of the country. I definitely think that solar on every rooftop is something that could happen at some point.
But rooftop solar alone won't be enough to power Sin City. Confronting the climate crisis will almost certainly require putting huge fields of solar panels out in the desert. But conservationists say these large solar farms are destroying important wildlife habitat.
Biodiversity is this Jenga tower, the pillar that holds up our world. Yeah. And as we keep removing pieces, species keep going extinct, at some point that Jenga tower collapses.
Ruin one spot, don't ruin every spot. Balance both of those interests of needing to combat climate change, but also we don't want to destroy the desert to do that.
Which is what led me to the Mojave Desert outside Las Vegas, home to some of the largest solar developments in the country. I wanted to know, what is the true cost of covering this desert in solar? According to a report from the Nature Conservancy, to completely power the American West with clean energy, we'd need up to 26 million acres of land for solar panels, wind turbines, and more. That's about 1/4 of the size of California. This is Patrick Donnelly, a conservation activist who took me to Big Dune outside of Vegas, where solar farms are creeping in on all sides. Patrick says finding land that's already disturbed, like agricultural fields or former mines, is critical to a sustainable future.
This sand dune has endemic life, beetles and other creatures that live here and nowhere else on Earth. And so this particular area is protected, but all the land you see around us, there's solar projects proposed on all sides of us, literally everything you can see.
If you could make a simple trade-off, and if someone said to you, we can solve climate change and end the combustion of fossil fuels, and all we had to do for that was to sacrifice every desert tortoise, is that a deal you would make?
The tortoise is an integral part of the biodiversity of the desert, and biodiversity is what makes life on Earth possible. And the tortoise fills a role in our world. And so, no, the desert tortoise is not an acceptable sacrifice for solar energy writ large.
Donnelly is willing to accept at least a few big solar projects on pristine land.
It's pretty fun.
That is pretty fun. Wow.
Now you can roll down, like I said, but you'll make yourself sick.
I'm not doing that. But Kevin Emmerich and Laura Cunningham have opposed just about every project proposed in the Mojave.
We keep losing habitats and losing natural areas because when we destroy species and make them go extinct, it's like the canary in the coal mine. I mean, we're all interconnected, and so destroying it to me it's like a lose-lose situation.
One thing's for sure, the consequences of not acting on climate change will be devastating. The planet just keeps getting hotter. Droughts and floods are getting worse. I went on a hike up Black Mountain with Jana Moan, a scientist from the Nature Conservancy, to get a better look at lands just outside Las Vegas with solar farms.
Down at least. Well, a little bit. Here's the Joshua tree I was telling you about. One of them.
Oh, the one that fell on the trail here.
Yeah.
And that's drought related, you think?
I think so. I mean, these poor guys have just seen more and more stress, I feel, over the years.
It was definitely pretty amazing just on the hike up here seeing the different species of plants. You call them the silver shala?
The silver cholla. And the red barrel cactus.
I mean the Joshua trees, but some of them looked like they were pretty drought stressed out there.
And they are drought stressed. There's actually a lot of lower impact areas we haven't thought about for renewable energy and that we're not taking advantage of. A good example would be rooftop solar on urbanscapes, urban solar. There's
down there in this
over the parking lots and the rooftops. Another good example that the Nature Conservancy has been exploring is minelands and brownfields, these already disturbed lands that will be closed to industrial or mining activity at some point. You can reuse that infrastructure for a renewable energy project. We don't want to sacrifice the species that we're trying to save and the biodiversity that we're trying to preserve in our race to save ourselves from the climate, basically. We really need to think holistically about saving everything.
How do you see climate change playing out on the landscapes and in the cities here in southern Nevada?
I think it's going to get hotter here. Certainly Las Vegas has been named one of the hottest or fastest warming cities in the country.
Jaina thinks we should protect the most important areas from solar, but allow some projects on less sensitive lands. Rooftop solar may not be enough to power the entire western United States, but everyone who decides to put solar on their roof reduces the need for giant solar farms in the desert, even if just a little bit. Rooftop solar is part of the answer to climate change, but we need other clean energy solutions too, and we've still got time. Thank you for watching this episode of Repowering the West. For more and to read the full story, just go to latimes.com/repoweringthewest.